The Atobility UB, which is this device here and looks just like a pen drive, is the most affordable Android AI box for your car at just 5,000 rupees if you use my exclusive discount coupon, that is. More on that later on. This thing comes built in with various useful apps such as Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and even TikTok that can prove to be highly beneficial for your co-passengers traveling with you in your car, as these things are not really targeted towards the driver driving the car since that is unsafe. And this is not just an Android box, but it also supports both wireless Android Auto as well as wireless Apple CarPlay, making this thing a fantastic 3-in-1 combo device for your car. We get a small, mostly white colored rectangular box here without any company branding though. What we do get is a glimpse of the actual device itself with a few of its highlights on all of the sides of the box. Few of its features worth mentioning here are that this device is suitable for more than 98% of the car models out there. However, only those car models are compatible which have built-in wired CarPlay feature. This thing has a 5 GHz Wi-Fi connection as well as Bluetooth version 5. iPhones 5 and above or iOS version 10 and above are supported with this device, and with reference to Android, all Android phones version 10 and above are supported here as well. We do also have the option to update the software of this device over the air or OTA from within the device interface itself, which is always highly convenient. And finally, this thing comes in just one variant, which is 2 gigs of RAM along with 16 gigs of ROM or internal memory, and honestly speaking, it is more than enough for this device, as we will see in just a bit. Inside the box we get a total of 4 things: a small certificate of authenticity, a small user manual, a USB Type A to C plug connector, which can be used if your car has a built-in Type C CarPlay port instead of Type A, which the main device gets. And of course the main device itself, which is the Atobility UB Multimedia Android AI box. This little plastic device looks and feels just like a pen drive. It comes with a Type A port to connect to your car, and at the front of it we can see a logo but still no company branding. The entire body gets a glossy look where we can notice several ventilation holes, and there's even a small LED embedded within at the rear of the device. We do not get any ports or slots on any of the sides, apart from of course this small hole here, which is the reset button. Press this for 5 to 10 seconds with something sharp like a pin to reset it. Anyways, it is really lightweight, weighing just 17 grams without the Type A to C adapter and 27 grams with the adapter. In terms of size, it's around 6 cm without the USB-A port, around 7 cm with the USB-A port, about 2.5 cm wide, about 1 cm thick, a little over 23 cm when connected to the Type A to C connector, since the connector itself is just about 17 cm in length. And for size comparison, here are my car keys next to the Atobility UB. So now we are inside my car, the Kia Sonet, to test the Atobility UB. My car comes with a USB Type A port for both Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. So clearly the USB Type A to C connector here is of no use to me, which means that I can simply insert the device to my car's USB A port to get this thing working. Shortly after we connect the adapter, we can notice a red light behind the device, meaning that the device has powered up. And sure enough, we can see a large text saying AI box on my screen here. You might notice a prompt to restart the device in case the device automatically recalibrates the screen according to your vehicle's respective screen size. And done. You should now be getting a similar looking user interface like the one we can see over here. In my experience, it usually takes close to 30 seconds for the device to completely boot up and ready to use, which I think is acceptable. The main menu consists of a side dock at the right with 4 prominent icons. This side dock is also known as the navigation bar, and yes, it can be removed from within the settings. Starting from the top, we get the Wi-Fi status symbol, which is important since we can get internet working in this device only after pairing it to any hotspot enabled device from within the car. This can be done from the settings here just like any other Android device. Then we get an icon to see all the recently opened apps, where we can now either jump between the apps or close them one by one or even all together. Then we get a dedicated back icon, which I have always appreciated since this small thing is usually missing in most Android AI boxes in various other brands for some reason. And finally, we get the home icon, which would take us back to this main menu. Most of these icons can also be found in the floating widget here, which stays on top of most apps. We can drag around this floating bubble anywhere on the screen, and it can also be removed just like the navigation bar if you want. On the top left corner, we can see the current, time, and right below it is the CarPlay Android Auto icon right next to the settings, which we will check out in a bit. And as for the rest of the screen, it is pretty much a given. These are the various apps that we get pre-installed for you to access. Both the video streaming apps Netflix and YouTube work flawlessly. Unfortunately, we do not get the option to install any other app of our choice in this device, but given the price of this thing, I frankly do not mind the limitation. And yes, these do work without any sort of issues or voice lags or latency most of the time, even while driving, which is definitely going to be a favorite for your family members or friends sitting in your car as co-passengers. At times it does tend to get just a bit slow or choppy, but that is mainly due to the low 2 gigs of RAM in the device, which is understandable at this price point. Perhaps that is why the device itself gets just a bit hot at times too. And as for music apps, both Spotify and YouTube Music work flawlessly as well. We do get one more app here, which is TikTok. However, this app has been banned here in India, and so I would not be able to show you its functionality, but it does work just as expected. Exiting the interface is quick and easy as well, and we can even speed up the system by clearing any background tasks using the speed icon on the main menu. The update button here allows us to update any of these apps here on the main menu, provided there is an update available for either of them. However, in order to update the firmware of the device itself, we need to go to the settings, then system, and then system updates. And if there is any new version available for your device, then you can simply download and install it from here, which is again pretty easy to do. If ever your device malfunctions or misbehaves, then you do get the option to reset the device from here as well, apart from of course the physical reset button at the bottom of the device that we saw earlier. As you can see here, we do get Android version 13 in this device, and also we do have the option to change the name of the device itself from here. As informed earlier, we do get the option to pair our mobile device to connect to either wireless Android Auto or wireless Apple CarPlay using this app here right next to settings. For the sake of presentation, I'll now connect my Samsung S24 Ultra. In order to connect, all we need to do here is enable the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on the phone and pair the phone to the device. And just like that, we now have wireless Android Auto connectivity with the all-time familiar looking menu here. All of the apps here function exactly like the wired counterpart, but since the RAM of this device is just 2 gigs, it is a bit on the slower side. But then again, considering the price of this thing and the amount of functions provided in it, I can let this minor inconvenience slide this time as well. iPhones will work in a similar fashion if you use an iPhone. Here I've used my iPhone SE for presentation purpose. And just as expected, wireless Apple CarPlay works just like the wired counterpart. Since the main device interface does not have a separate Google Maps app, we can use it here either on Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, and they do work just as intended. Same goes for music apps, making or receiving phone calls.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Or even while using voice control features.
Expect some clear skies in New Delhi today. Daytime temperatures will hover around 36 degrees, with overnight lows around 24.
Everything works pretty well using either the phones. One thing that I would like to point out here is that using this device, the Atobility UB, we can use either of the 3 features one at a time only and not all together at once. So for example, if you're using either wireless Android Auto or Apple CarPlay to listen to music or even for Google Maps, then even if you go back to the main menu of the device itself, we won't be able to use any of the provided apps here, since these all would need to use internet, which gets disabled when connecting to CarPlay or Android Auto. Reason for this limitation is that this device does not allow both the Wi-Fi and the hotspot to work simultaneously or together. Having said that, it's not really a deal breaker in my opinion, since we do always have the option to use GPS on our phones while accessing streaming apps on the Atobility UB, which then works wonderfully provided this is the kind of setup you're looking for. Just something to be aware of, I guess. In conclusion, I'm pretty impressed with the Atobility UB, and I think it's a real tough price to beat for any other Android AI box in the market provided by other brands. But while it may have an advantage with its price, it certainly does have a few limitations as well, like the lack of Google Play Store itself, which would allow us to download any other apps and possibly even allow us to play games using this thing, like a few other Android AI boxes I've reviewed in the past. And it also doesn't get slots for either a SIM card or a memory card, which usually are pretty handy. Having said that, I think that if you're running on a budget, then this device is truly a no-brainer. Definitely worth buying if you're looking for an Android AI box without breaking the bank. At the time this video is being recorded, this device can be yours for 5,900 rupees. However, if you use my exclusive discount coupon HarryWT, you would have to pay just 5,015 rupees, which is a superb deal if you ask me. For reference purpose, my device was delivered to me in just 4 days time with no hassles or extra payments whatsoever, since at the time of making this video, all Atobility products are shipped to customers in India locally. Also, if you're looking for just a 2-in-1 wireless adapter for both Apple CarPlay as well as Android Auto to get rid of all the wires in your car, then you can check out this video here where I've showcased the most affordable one right now, also from Atobility, which should pique your interest. And I'll catch you soon in the next one. Bye bye.